All right, let's talk about fonts. So fonts is everything that has to do with text, typography, the style and appearance of text, and the art of working with text. That's all what font is all about. And there are several types of fonts. We have serif fonts, we have sans serif fonts, and we have display fonts. These are the three basic types of fonts. So you want to combine these fonts whenever you are working on a project. And one way to be consistent with your font is to stick to this rule that says don't use more than 2 or 3 fonts in a project. When you start using up to 4 or 5 fonts on one project, it makes your project look disorganized and inconsistent with fonts and typography. So stick to that rule. So fonts can also communicate. So there are some fonts you use for casual work. There are some fonts you want to use if you are creating a business website. There are some fonts you want to use that communicate fonts. So fonts communicate. So depending on the message you are trying to pass and the scope of your project, the purpose of whatever you are building, you want to make sure that you are very careful when choosing your fonts because your fonts communicate. And also there's something called font hierarchy. So you want to use font hierarchy to guide the eyes of your user to whatever is most important in the page. So that's why we are going to be combining fonts in this video, and we'll be using serif fonts for our heading. So the way to identify serif fonts is that serif fonts have these strokes at the edge. So we are going to be using serif fonts for our headings and sans serif fonts for the body because sans serif fonts are very readable. Serif fonts are good for headings, so that's one combination. Another combination is to use display fonts. These are very bold fonts and they are good for headings also and designs that are heavy in graphics. So you can use this font, but the rule is that when you are using a bold font for your heading, which is recommended, make sure you use fonts like sans serif fonts that are readable. And when you are using bold fonts for your headings, make sure you keep the text in your headings short. You don't want to keep it long. So now that we have learned a bit about fonts, we are now going to head over to Google Fonts and choose a font for our project. All right, now I need you to open your browser and we are going to head over to fonts.google.com because this is what we'll be using for choosing a font. And so I'm just going to clear this and start from scratch. On the sidebar here, we are able to filter our font. So if you click on filter, it's going to open the sidebar here and you'll be able to filter fonts. You can filter based on the feeling. So are we using this font for business? And you can see more feelings here. You see, we have happy. That's the idea I was trying to communicate with you. It's not an idea actually, it's a concept that your font speaks language. So that's what I was telling you not long ago that your fonts communicate. So you want to look at the scope of your project. Is this a fun project? Is this a project for a client's business? You know, you just want to look, even though it's a business, you want to look at the kind of service the business offers. Let's say a a fashion business, you want to use something like a vintage font. So you just look at uh, the project you want to build to choose your font. That's the idea actually. So appearance, you can choose based on appearance. We have calligraphy, serif. So I told you about serif and sans serif fonts, technology, seasonal, Halloween, Christmas. So if you want fonts for a Christmas project and all that, this is also helpful in design. So I'm going to filter by business and scroll through to see the options. I actually want Roboto. I'm going to click on Roboto and click get font. So This Roboto is a sans serif font, and if I click on, I don't want to download it, I want to get the embedded code. So I'm going to click on get embedded code, and we want to use this from our CSS file. So we're not going to use this link tag. This link tag is meant to be used when you want to import your font from HTML. So like it's saying here, embed code in head of HTML, but we want to use it from CSS. So click on import, and it's going to show you this link here. You need to copy it and add it to your CSS file. You don't need this style because we're working with external CSS. But before we copy this code here, I want you to go back and just go back again. Then let's choose a serif font for our heading. So I want to use a serif font for my heading, and the serif font I want is also Roboto. So we have Roboto serif and Roboto, which is sans serif font. So without wasting time, I'm just going to come to the search bar here and type Roboto serif because that's what I want. And let's just click get font, and again I want all the font. So if I click on this font here, you see all the font weights. I want all the font weights so that I'll be able to reference it from my CSS. So I'm going to click on get fonts again, and you see it's already here. If I click on get embedded code, so if we look, we can change the style. We can decide to remove this font weight. We can decide to remove this font style here. We can decide to just modify the font the way we want, but just know that if you modify the font here, so let's say we remove italic, you will not be able to make reference to that style on your CSS because you are importing this font. This is not a font that is installed on your computer or a web safe font. So web safe fonts are those fonts that are available on all websites. You don't need to import it, you don't need to download it and install on your computer. It will work on any website by just referencing it on your CSS. So I want all the font weight. So go to import, and now you can see we have two fonts. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see this better. I think I have to now scroll down. Oh, let me zoom out. Yes, I think it's better now. So if you look at the link here, you see that we have two fonts. We have Roboto serif right here, and we have Roboto. So all you need to do is to copy this part of the link, and we are going to attach it in our CSS. So just open a notepad document, copy it and paste it there so that you can make reference to it. Or you can always come back to Google Fonts. Just create an account, sign up so that you'll be able to um, store your changes. So you can always come back to Google Fonts and just come back and get this link. So in the next video, next section of this video, we are going to start building our project from scratch.